Hi, my name is Megan Flanagan. I am the owner of 609 Media, which is a digital marketing company. And I'm also a coach of female entrepreneurs at FromWithin Coaching, which is founded and owned by our very own Amy Magyar up in Burlington, Vermont. Amy, I am so happy to have you with me today to talk about what I think is a very uh, talked about topic when people are interested in becoming a coach.
Mm.
First of all, welcome and thanks for coming today.
Thanks for having me. Love it.
Thank you. So one of the things that keeps coming up for a lot of people when they are curious about becoming a coach, and I love that people are curious about that, is how long does it take to become a certified life coach? And we just say life coach because if people Google, how do I become a coach, all of a sudden they're going to be learning basketball or baseball or football. So we do use the term life coach as a general kind of umbrella,
Yeah.
if you will.
Yeah.
But so when people Google that, they get all, as I did it myself, you get so much information back and you don't even know where to begin. So
Yeah.
how does someone who's curious about being a coach, and especially in the times we're in now with so many corporate layoffs and people wanting to leverage their expertise, it is the perfect time to
Yeah.
make that career change, pivot, and perhaps become a coach and leverage your
Right.
skills that you've worked on for 10, 20, 30 years. So back to
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
question,
Love it. Love it.
how long does it take?
Got it. Love it. I'm going to answer that question and clarify it in that, if I may, I'm going to get back to that. How long does it take to become a certified coach? There's a there's a couple of other layers that I just want to cover in. We've done a couple of videos prior to this where we talk about, should I become a certified coach? Do I have to become a certified coach? And we definitely invite people to go check those out, because the short story is, you don't actually have to become certified to become a coach. You can become a coach today. Um, and it just takes finding a client who is willing to pay you to become a coach. And I'm not saying that that's the best way to become a coach. I firmly believe that we all bring different strengths and skills to the table. And so we may want to brush up on some of those skills and strengths. It may mean going to a coaching school, doing a full program, just taking one class, potentially then being certified by the ICF. We talked about that in one of the videos. But
Mhm.
let me back up to, often what I get asked is, how long is this going to take in general, Amy? And I always like to say, get certified to build your business, but it's true. People say, how long is this going to take? Right? That's sort of a question. Any new thing that happens for people, that is the question. Give me
Yeah,
the
you're going to
timeline.
college. How long is this going to take to get
Yeah.
or I want to be a lawyer. How long is going to take? Well, it's
Yeah.
certainly, we all know at the top of our heads, it's
Right.
not just a 4-year degree. That's the first brick in
Right.
the foundation.
Right. Right. So it's an interesting idea of, there's so many different schools. If you decide that you want to get certified as a coach, there are so many different schools. Some are the International Coaching Federation's ICF schools. They've been blessed. And they often have sort of two tiers of programs. One is like a 60, I think it's a 60-hour training. And then the other is, I think it's 125. We have to go back and make sure that that's what that is showing right now, for an ACC level and PCC. And we talked about ACC and PCC prior, again,
Mhm.
in some of the other videos. So if I'm completely flummoxing you, go back to our other videos because it explains a little bit more. But the ACC is 60 hours of training. PCC level, which is the next level up, is 125 hours of interaction, classroom, whatever classroom means. It could be in person, could be virtual. And then what's interesting is that if it's a non-ICF school, where it's just a great school, but they don't follow the ICF standards, then, I mean, there could be a class that is offered and it's 10 hours and you can be coaching. The idea is that it, for people who love to learn, which I find coaches are super naturally curious and really love to learn, that they crave more school than less school. And what I will say is that you don't have to finish your education to start coaching. In fact, they will absolutely, within your first day of taking one class or a whole program, they're going to tell you to go out and find clients. So you're going to be coaching from day one of whatever school it is. So whether it's, the school that's 60 hours of training or 125 or anywhere in between those, or even less than that, you are going to be coaching right away. They're going to want you practicing. So that's what's important. So I'm going to back up even more and say, often what I'm asked is, how long is this going to take me to become a profitable coach? Right? Not so much a certified coach, but a profitable coach. Can this pay for my lifestyle that I want? And how long is this going to take me?
Right.
Does that make sense in terms of just, I'm going to shift it a little bit.
It's a better question, really. And I think even if people they're not aware that is really the question they probably want to know.
Yeah. Yes.
Especially if we're talking about the current climate. If somebody's been laid off from a corporate position, I mean, most people get a severance package that might take them 6 months to a year. So
if they're lucky, right.
Yeah, if they're lucky. And so, it's like if they'll want to know what that picture looks like for them.
Yeah. So unfortunately, the answer is it depends, which I know sucks to hear for people. They're like, no, Amy, give us an actual
tell me 2 years.
3 months. Yeah, 3 months, 2 years, whatever it is. So it depends. And the factors that it depends on is, I think the first one to look at is, what does your own network look like in what you're coaching? So if you are coaching professionals in executive leadership, if you want to become a wellness coach, if you want to become a relationship coach, a parent coach, all the different niches, which I think we should probably talk about at some point, right? Is all the niches and sort of all that. Is if you have been living in a box and your network is quite small and you don't have to be big on social media, but it's your connections, because some of our first clients aren't the people. And let me just say this loud and clear. Your people, your first clients, are usually not your friends and neighbors. They're actually people you don't know, but they're who your friends and neighbors know. So it is really hard to coach your friends, your family members, even like second cousins once removed. Not ideal. However, what's great is your network knows people that you don't know. So let's say my friend Jen is my college roommate. I couldn't coach Jen, and I couldn't for a number of reasons that we can talk about ethically, and just those aren't the perfect people, especially if you're a new emerging coach to practice on. But Jen went to high school with 1,000 people. And she's still in contact with 10 of those people. There's a chance that somebody is in my niche, whatever the coaching niche is. And so if I can connect with Jen to say, this is who I'm coaching, this is what I'm coaching, she can help you get connected. And then if she says, actually, I need coaching too, maybe try to help her find a coach, and you guys can do referrals back and forth, right? So, because you can't coach your friends. Do not coach your friends and do not coach your family. Even after doing this for 18 years, slippery slope when you coach your friends and family. Just want to say that. So really what it depends on is, how involved in your network are you? Doesn't mean that they know that you want to coach, but it just means, do you connect with your network, whether it's on social media, whether it is emails to these people? How sort of mature is that network? Because one of the first things that we can do when we want to build a coaching practice is ask those people that know us like us, trust us. That sounds familiar. I know that's something that, you
Yep.
talk about. But these are our fan club. So even though we can't coach them, they have people in their lives that they can refer us to. They can
We
think
can
about
leverage
us and
their network.
leverage. That's exactly it, right?
Yeah.
And so I think for people, I've had this question asked of me where somebody said, I just moved into a new area and I want to become a coach. So I've just moved from the West Coast to the East Coast.
Right.
I'm nervous because I don't know anybody on the East Coast. My answer is you don't need to know anybody on the East Coast because the world that we work in is virtual.
Hmm.
And probably no more than 20% of your business should come from where you live.
Right.
You should be broad, right? You should be out and about
You can be
and you can
anywhere
use
you
that.
want to be. Right.
That's the beauty of this, right?
Right.
Is that you
Right.
can be.
Hmm.
So even if you've just recently moved, it doesn't matter. It is how connected are you? So one of the things that people can do if they're thinking about becoming a coach, say they still have a job or still working and want to start doing a side hustle of coaching, is start connecting with your network. Reconnect with people that you worked with before. It doesn't have to be about coaching. It can just be, hey, I'm just checking in. What's happening for you?
Hmm.
Because when you do the big announcement that this is what you're doing, you don't want them to think like, wow, this is the first time I'm hearing from Amy in a while and she's got an ask for me. So because
Yeah.
I absolutely hear people say, oh wow, I haven't really connected with my network. I've been so visually down and focused on my job that I'm embarrassed to have the first thing I put out is to be the ask,
Yeah.
to
It's
say, who do
very,
you
it can
know?
feel very slimy, and we have a word we say on our side of the smarmy.
Yes. Right. So if you don't want smarmy, start connecting with people. Put a Google Calendar reminder in that
Oh, I
every
like that.
week you're going to reach out to somebody in your network, LinkedIn,
Hmm.
Facebook, whatever your network is, right? Personal, professional, just email list,
Yeah.
is to reach out to people. What's happening for you? Was thinking about you. Fill me in, right? And they may, if they're kind, they'll probably turn around and say, what's happening for you? You can start to talk about maybe what's happening. Don't do the ask then. You don't have to do the
Right.
ask then, but just know, hey, this is something I'm thinking about. Thank you so much for asking. And I'm still in that phase of building it. I'm really
Right.
excited about it. I'll send you more information as we get closer or whatever. But
Right.
um, so that question of it depends on your level of connection, the
Hmm.
maturity, as I like to say, the number of connectors and extroverts you have in your group. Now, I'm not saying that introverts don't refer, but have definitely found how they share information is different than how maybe extroverted connectors do that. So what I'd say is find a couple of extroverted connectors because they'll do it quite quickly for you. My
Hmm.
introverted connectors are a little bit more, they want to find the right person and it's a little more of a process, takes a little bit longer. But that's okay. That's not a
Hmm.
bad thing. But it really is about the kind of work that you want to do. A really great quote that I actually heard, Megan, is if you want your coaching practice to be a business, treat it like a business.
Oh, I like that.
If you want it to be a hobby, then you're going to treat it like a hobby. Like if it's something that you want that's going to become more than part-time and become full-time, then then put the time in, right? And whatever put the time in means. And that goes back to how long is this going to take me?
Right.
How much time are you willing to put into it?
Right.
Because what we know is for every hour we put in, we will get something out of it. Information, this
Right.
is working, this isn't working. You may get clients out of it. But if we just go, oh, I'm bored, my work is done, I'm going to put an hour into my coaching business, which is really more of a hobby because I didn't
Right.
actually put time aside, it may take longer for you to get to the goals that you want to get to. Does that
Right.
make sense?
it makes 100%, makes 100% sense to me. But now I'm going to put you on the spot because,
Please.
I'm this person who just got laid off, and I've been thinking about coaching, and now is
Yeah.
the time because I'm over 40 and I want to change and all the things we hear. And I want my own business by design. So I want to do this. I'm dedicated to this. If I said to you, Amy, I want to train to run a marathon, you would say, okay, you have to do this much. Da, 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 da. You wouldn't say you've got to hit a 4-minute mile.
Right.
But what is that time? Like you should be able to run a mile for a marathon, what, 12, 13 minutes?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's
yeah,
your
yeah.
thing to be consistent. So what is that mile marker? What is the average? Like, is it, I'm pinning you down, like, or what have in your experience with being a mentor coach,
Yeah.
do you have an average for your mentees? Like, has it been 2 years? Like what, I pulled that out of nowhere, by the way,
Yeah,
but
yeah, 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 yeah.
what is it?
Right, right. What I will say is, it won't take as long as 2 years, and it won't take as long as 6 months on average, because one of the
Longer
things
than
that,
6 months.
yeah, yeah, sorry.
That's what
So
I mean. Yep.
it will take 6 months to 2 years to
Got it.
truly have a practice that is sustainable,
Mm-hmm.
that is referring to you, that's active.
Mm-hmm.
And what I will say is, in the first 6 months, if you are blessed with being able to get 5 coaching practice people or 5 coaching clients a week, you're going to hit that 6 month mark sooner, because here's the other thing. The more we coach, the easier it becomes,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how much school you've gone through.
True.
Actual coaching practice, getting in there. The other thing that happens is you wind up going, oh, I thought this was my niche, but I really like when people bring this to me.
Yeah.
And suddenly you just have more energy around that. You blog about it, you tweet about it, you comment about it on LinkedIn, and it becomes what people sort of tend to know you for, because you're putting out that energy. You won't
Right.
actually know until you really start coaching it. And
Makes
that's
sense.
why that 6 months can be shortened. But
Yeah.
on average, it takes that time to get the word out. And the thing that I'll also find is the number of people that show up at our door at From Within. When I ask them, we offer this "Who's your coach?" question call, where people can call me and say, I don't know who my coach is. Here's my challenge. Who's the best fit for that? One of the first questions that I ask them is, I'm curious, when did you find out about From Within? And the average answer is 2 to 3 months ago. So it takes them often 2 to 3 months to, once they've learned about us, to actually making the call. Every once in a while, I'll get somebody who says to me, I just got your number from so and so. And I'm like,
Right.
right on, you are ready to go. And there's no judgment for the people that have taken 2 to 3 months. But that's why it does take a bit of time cultivating and spreading what I say is like drip irrigation, right?
Sure.
Drip irrigating your marketing, drip irrigating telling the world about yourself, because it may take somebody 2 to 3 months. Because here's what happens in their head. Wow, that's a really cool coach that Megan told me about. I'm going to try to do this on my own. And there's nothing wrong with that. We as
Right.
coaches love that. We love that.
Right.
Like, that's the
Right.
goal, is for you to do it all by yourself. However, there's going to be blind spots. There's going to be things that you're going to trip on. There's a reason you haven't done it before. So
Right.
we really encourage you to use a coach so that it goes a little quicker and
Right.
smoother, and you don't miss those blind spots. But if it takes people 2 to 3 months to reach out to a coach, you have to know that that's going to take some time, right? And so, full disclosure, I went from a full-time gig, and I was coaching as much as I could when I was in that full-time gig, meaning I was working for somebody else. I coached in the morning, I coached on my lunch break, I coached it after work, I coached on the weekends. And so I wound up running out of time to coach people in the day. When I left my full-time job, I still didn't have enough revenue to coach full time.
Mhm.
I actually wound up creating a dog walking company because of my love of animals that helped actually fill in some of that time,
Mhm.
because I think I was realizing that it wasn't just going to happen overnight. I wasn't going to completely 100%, even though I had a great dynamic network, it wasn't immediately going to translate to
Right.
exactly what I was making. And
Right.
that's okay, because it actually gave me a little bit of freedom to say, is this the right client I should take? Because I'm not sure I should take this client. And if I didn't have to take them because of money, I wasn't working with the wrong clients, which is a whole other video we'll talk about
We could
for
talk
sure.
about that. We should talk about that. We'll have to schedule that one because that applies in so many areas,
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to back up, and like any good coach, I'm going to ask you where I may need to clarify for you, or what questions are coming up for you in what I just shared.
Well, one thing I was going to when I looked down earlier, it was because I was pulling something up that it's something we've talked about for a while. And in one of our other videos, we talk about the importance of certification versus non-certification. What is the need, and what's going on in the industry? But the one staggering fact that came out last year is they estimated the market size of the coaching industry um, is $20 billion in 2022,
Yeah.
with 10.5 billion market value in the US alone. The ICF research team expects the market value to reach $25 billion in 2025. So here we sit,
Wow.
2023. Um, and that's why we're bringing up these questions, because more and more people are interested in coaching. And I know, even though I am not certified yet, and I've talked to you about going down that road now, um, it's going to be so important, I think, to have a certification when
Mm.
the regulations come down the pike,
Yeah, yeah,
and knowing what our choices are. So I think that just getting curious about becoming a coach, and hopefully we can shorten the window from 3 months to a month, and having these videos out there for people to take in. As far as going back to your question you just asked, I think it's all pretty clear, but it's not clear. But like you said, it's not going to be clear because there's
right.
so many different factors.
Yeah,
Um, I always look for a story to tell, to make an analogy that makes sense to somebody. If I was in a full-time job and I wanted to go back to school to be a doctor, okay, I've got a college degree. What do I need to do to apply to med school? When am I going to fit those classes in?
yes,
And then
yeah,
all the bits and pieces that go along with fully becoming a doctor, which can take many years. Um, but you just can't say, "Oh, I want to be a doctor in 4 years." I mean, you
right,
can, and if you have the money and the time, you will make it happen. But
right, right, right,
there's
right.
extenuating circumstances in life that will get in the way. So I also love, and I remember when you started your dog walking business. And it was just, as an entrepreneur, I'm like, it sings to me. I'm just like, that's awesome. Where there's a will, there's a way, and people can, figure things out,
Yeah, yeah,
along the route of becoming a coach. So
yeah,
I love it. I love this information. It makes it clearer, and I think it helps people maybe feel a little bit more safe to, maybe make that call sooner than later.
yeah, yeah. I think the thing is, you don't have to do this alone.
Yes.
Whether it's the school that you attend, the class that you attend, the program you attend, there's support out there for you. Whether it's working with a mentor coach, a business coach like yourself, um, there's support. You do not have to do this alone.
Right.
Most people that have hobbies don't tend to have mentors in their hobby.
Right.
People that run businesses tend to have mentors, right?
Mhm.
So, and coaches. And so I just want to say that, because that can be a factor to speed up your success rate, right? Is the energy and the time you put in, and then having somebody help you with blind spots. I don't like talking about money, I don't like selling myself. I don't want to come off as schmarmy.
Mhm.
Whatever the thing is it's keeping you from being able to be out there and to make those connections, that
Right.
there's support for that. So, I mean, the work that you do with women specifically is so powerful, because we almost feel like, I feel like we have to get it. We feel like we have to have it be perfect to put it out there. And
Mhm.
you share with us, it can be a little messy. And actually your mess is in your message. Like your
Yep.
message is your mess, right? It can be a
Right.
little messy.
Right.
So, that's just
Yeah.
so important. Doesn't have to be perfect.
No, exactly. I love it.
Love it. Love it. I think we just came up with about 55 other different videos we
I
could do.
know. I know. These conversations will continue. So I invite everybody to, like this video, subscribe to whatever channel you're listening to. If it's YouTube or if it's another channel, like and subscribe and leave us your questions, comments. And if you have any questions about coaching, drop them below and we will add them to the list of things we're going to talk about, because we've got 25 billion topics to talk about when it comes to coaching.
Oh, love it,
So
Megan.
I
Love it.
will sign off and thank you, Amy, for your time today. And we'll talk soon.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.